Imagine pouring your heart and soul into something for 13 years, building it from nothing into a global phenomenon. Then one day, you're given an impossible choice: compromise everything you stand for, or walk away from it all. That's exactly what happened to Edd China. The real story behind his shocking exit from Wheeler Dealers wasn't just about creative differences, it was about principles, passion, and one man's refusal to sacrifice quality for profit. I've spent months investigating what really happened, and what I discovered will change how you see one of television's most controversial departures forever. Before we dive into the bombshell revelations about why Edd China really left Wheeler Dealers, hit that subscribe button and notification bell. This is a story about integrity in an industry where it's increasingly rare, and you won't want to miss what's coming. Wheeler Dealers began in 2003 as a humble British show about fixing up cars on a budget. What made it special wasn't flashy production or artificial drama, it was authenticity. In those early days, it was just 5 crew members plus Edd China and Mike Brewer, working out of small workshops with limited resources. What viewers connected with immediately was Edd's meticulous approach to restoration. Unlike other automotive shows that glossed over the technical details, Edd walked viewers through every step, every challenge, every solution. These workshop segments became the heart and soul of Wheeler Dealers, a genuine educational experience disguised as entertainment. What Edd did was unique on television. He didn't just show the before and after, he showed all the struggles in between. I learned how to fix my own car watching him explain things in a way anyone could understand. For 13 seasons this formula worked brilliantly. Wheeler Dealers wasn't just successful, it was beloved. The show restored 135 cars and built a global audience of millions. Edd China became one of the most respected figures in automotive television, known for his encyclopedic knowledge and towering 6-7 inches frame. Everything seemed perfect. But behind the scenes, something was changing. The small British production had caught the attention of bigger players. Discovery Channel and Velocity saw the potential to transform Wheeler Dealers from a niche show into a global brand with American appeal. In 2015, production moved to California. The budget increased, the production values improved. On the surface this seemed like a dream scenario: more resources, bigger projects, wider distribution. But this expansion came with a hidden cost that would eventually lead to the show's most controversial moment. What many viewers don't realize is that when shows expand, the pressure to maximize profit intensifies. Television is a business after all, and this is where our investigation reveals the first cracks in the Wheeler Dealers foundation. According to multiple sources close to the production, Velocity had concerns about one specific aspect of the show: Edd's workshop segments. These detailed explanations, often running 10–15 minutes per episode, were expensive to film. They required multiple camera setups, additional lighting, and significantly more production time than other segments. The network executives started asking if viewers really needed to see every step of the process. Could we condense the workshop segments? Could we focus more on before and after transformations? These questions started coming up more frequently in production meetings. For the network, this was simply about optimizing content for maximum viewership and profit. But for Edd China, it represented something far more significant. These workshop segments weren't just filler content to Edd, they were the very reason he joined the show in the first place. His mission had always been educational: to demystify automotive repair and empower viewers to tackle projects themselves. Every bolt, every wire, every detailed explanation mattered to him. The fan mail and personal interactions at events confirmed what Edd already knew: viewers valued these segments enormously. People weren't just watching for entertainment, they were learning real skills that saved them money and gave them confidence. By 2017, the tension had reached a breaking point. In production meetings for season 14, Velocity made their position clear: the workshop segments needed to be significantly reduced. The new format would focus more on the story of each car and less on the technical details of restoration. For Edd, this wasn't a minor creative adjustment, it was a fundamental change to the show's identity. In his own words, these segments were the USP and backbone of Wheeler Dealers. Cutting them would erode the integrity of his work. Try to imagine this choice. On one hand, a lucrative contract with global reach and millions of viewers. On the other, your personal and professional integrity. What would you do? On March 21, 2017, Edd China answered that question. In a heartfelt YouTube video, he announced his departure from Wheeler Dealers after 13 years. The automotive world was stunned. Unfortunately, on Velocity's new format, they found my detailed and in-depth coverage of all the repairs too difficult to make. So they've decided to reduce this content dramatically and focus more on the finding and final reveal of the car. For me, the workshop section is the most important part of the show, and compromising on that was compromising on the quality and integrity of my work. So I have decided to leave the show. The announcement sent shockwaves through the community. Social media exploded with reactions, most supporting Edd's decision but expressing deep disappointment at the end of an era. But what happened next revealed just how passionate, and sometimes toxic fan communities can become. Mike Brewer, who remained with the show, became the target of vicious backlash. Some fans, unable to accept that a business decision had led to Edd's departure, directed their anger at Mike. He reportedly received death threats. His social media accounts were flooded with hateful comments. What happened to Mike Brewer was completely unfair. This wasn't a personal falling out between Mike and Edd, this was a business decision made by network executives. Mike was caught in the middle of a situation beyond his control. The aftermath was difficult for everyone involved. Ant Anstead stepped in as the new mechanic, a talented professional placed in the impossible position of replacing a beloved figure. The show continued, but for many fans, something essential had been lost. The detailed explanations that had made Wheeler Dealers unique were indeed reduced, just as Edd had feared. But this story isn't just about a television show changing format, it's about something much more universal, the courage to stand up for your principles when millions of dollars are at stake. For Edd China, leaving Wheeler Dealers wasn't the end, it was a new beginning. In 2021, he launched Workshop Diaries on YouTube, returning to his roots of detailed mechanical explanations without network constraints. In many ways, this new venture represented a purer version of what Edd had always wanted to create, educational content that treated viewers with respect and assumed their intelligence. Looking back at this controversy years later, it's clear that both sides were acting according to their priorities. Velocity wanted to maximize profit and viewership. Edd wanted to maintain educational integrity. Neither was wrong, they simply had different visions for what the show should be. In the years since, the landscape of automotive television has continued to evolve. Some shows prioritize drama and personality clashes. Others focus on spectacular transformations with minimal technical detail. Few have managed to capture the educational depth that made early Wheeler Dealers so special. The lesson in Edd China's departure isn't that networks are villains or that compromise is always wrong. It's that knowing your non-negotiable values and having the courage to stand by them is rare in any industry. What Edd did takes enormous courage. Walking away from a successful show, from financial security, from global fame, all to maintain the integrity of your work, that's something few people would do. It's why he's earned such respect in this industry. For the millions of viewers who learned valuable skills from Edd's detailed explanations, his decision preserved something precious, the memory of a show that never compromised on quality, that respected its audience's intelligence, that valued education over entertainment. In an age where compromise often seems inevitable, and principles are frequently sacrificed for profit, Edd China's story reminds us of something important. Some things are worth more than success. Some values shouldn't be negotiable, and sometimes, walking away is the most powerful statement you can make. So the next time you face that impossible choice between compromise and principle, remember this story. Remember that true success isn't measured by paychecks or viewership numbers. It's measured by how well you sleep at night, knowing you stayed true to yourself. Edd China didn't just fix cars. He showed us all how to repair our relationship with integrity in a broken world. And that's a lesson worth more than any television contract. If you found value in this untold story, support those who stand by their principles, not just with likes and subscriptions, but by living your own truth when it matters most. Until next time, remember, in a world that's constantly trying to change you, the greatest victory is staying true to yourself.